where equality is just another euphemism for mediocrity, where participation is more highly valued than achievement, where just enough to get by is the new standard of excellence. There is a small minority of people who fight back against such apathy, who struggle daily to reach new heights. These brave few are the hope for the future, the bright shining light for the next generation. They are the ones who will lead us to the places we have never dreamed of, to the undiscovered country, to reach goals only a few can even begin to imagine. Unfortunately, none of those people could be here tonight, so kick back and relax. Prepare yourself for several hours of fun, friendship, fascinating conversation, and fabulous music. All those F's, that's an alliteration and kind of a radio trick. Speaking of radio, you're listening to the most popular radio station in the history of broadcast radio, at least among stations that originate from Chris's living room. It's Curious Times. Your host is Curious Listener. Here she is, Chris.
That's me. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Curious Times. It's going to be an abbreviated version of the show today. We're happy to have Melissa Brewster, the heavy metal psychic. And we'll catch up with her in real quick. We do have at least one caller, or maybe even two for you, that have been hanging in there listening to my stupid, lame stories and music. And so we'll be sure to keep our conversation brief because I'm pretty sure that you'll be wanting to, not be here all night, Melissa. So everybody who knows Melissa, welcome her back, of course. Those that don't know Melissa, who might be listening on another platform or later on in YouTube, Melissa is the heavy metal psychic. Okay. She's also an astrologer. She's a medium, a psychic medium. She reads the tarot. She's also a coach and a teacher. She teaches people how to read their astrology, birth charts, and how to. She also teaches she injects, which is very nice, and most people don't do this, but she injects personal development pieces into her training programs, and so which is good. Because we need to be as whole as possible our own selves in order to do the best work that we can in this area. But you can find out more by it might have changed, but I don't know. But anyway, try heavymetalpsychic.com, heavymetalpsychic.com. I don't know if it's a .weebly.com or what the heck, or if it's just still .com. I can't remember. Somebody changed to .weebly.com. And anyway, find her on Facebook and look up Heavy Metal Psychic. No, or just Melissa Bruce. You know what I mean? You'll find her. Just Google it, for crying out loud. What the hell is wrong with you people? And let's go get Melissa. Yay!
Hi! I'm so sorry.
How
but
you doing?
I'm exhausted. Oh my gosh, it's been a long day. But yes, actually, I just wanted to add on to that. Yeah, if you Google the heavy metal psychic, you're going to get all of the heavy metals. All of it. So yeah, fine. Google it, you'll find everything.
There you go. Everything. That sounds dirty.
I do mean never. No, there's none of that on there. Trust me. At least not under the heavy metal psychic. You got to dig into some of my other names. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you what they are either.
Don't make me choke on my coffee this early, okay? So anyway, how's your foot?
Let me just say, actually, no, it's not. I stayed off of it all day, even though I was supposed to be helping Sherry get her pods packed up to move to Texas. She's leaving me for good in 2 days and moving to Texas. It was really hard to say goodbye to her and to my dad's cat. And the cat actually was around longer than she was. So that was a little bit difficult. But I have to say, Chris sent me a healing last night because I broke my toe because the universe told me to slow down and I didn't listen, so they stopped me. That's it, you're done. And Chris sent me a healing last night. I could feel this Reiki healing. It was amazing. It was like somebody put this tingly sock on my foot all of a sudden, and it was throbbing, and it just stopped, and I couldn't even feel it. And I have to be super, super, super careful because it does feel so much better today than
Right.
it did yesterday. But that's why I have to be so careful, because then
Yeah.
I'll forget about it, and it is it is technically broken. So
Yeah.
and it's going to take time. So but it is definitely a lot better today, and I stayed off of it all day. I was forced to lay on the couch and watch everybody work, and try not to dictate from the couch, because that annoys
Yeah.
people, you know. So it is a lot
Good.
better today.
Good. That's good to know. Good to know. Good for you. And you're right. Like that's why the people that have the lack of a pain like where they don't feel pain, like they can actually cause more trouble to themselves. Like pain
Yes.
is often a good thing, right? Is because
It,
it's
it
our
reminds you.
signal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it reminds you that it's a reminder that something's up. So
Yeah. Yeah. I used to always like it took me the longest time to figure out like like that, like it used to be like, especially with fingertips and stuff, where the nerves are, you know what I mean, like the closest, and
mhm.
what like, and
Mhm.
like if I had a cut or something like this, it's like, how come all of a sudden I have to like hit my finger all, and you don't realize it's hitting things all day long, but it doesn't hurt, so you just don't,
Right.
it doesn't, you know what I
Right.
mean? And so, uh, so really, if you are injured and you have no pain signals coming through, it can be a bad thing, because you can continue to injure yourself
Yeah,
in
I
that way.
think also that that's why it feels like when you do have an injury, it's you're hitting it on everything, or everybody's hitting it, or stepping on your foot, or I almost got my foot rolled over by a cart, and I jumped 10 feet in the air. This kid come around that corner at Walmart, like his butt was on fire. And most of the time I wouldn't even bat an eye or even think about it. But because of the fact that it hurts, it's going to hurt a lot
Yeah,
more if it gets hit
for
again.
sure.
So
Yeah. Oh
I
no,
think
no
that's
doubt about it. Like I know, like, and that's like with, especially like things like toes. Oh my God, you know what I mean? And
it
like
is, yeah.
it's like that's gonna be the day that you stub your toe all day long. Like it's just like stupidity, right? It just feels like, oh my God, like I cannot. So I have a great deal of empathy for you in that. So I hope it gets better rather than just feeling better. Like I hope it gets better quick, because toes, there's not much they can do about.
No. Yeah.
Um,
And it seems to be fine now. I still can't put my sneakers on. They're too
yeah,
it's too tight in there, and it hurts
yeah,
real
oh
bad. In
yeah,
fact, after when I was talking to you last night, I just took the sneaker off, and I think I'd had it on for 45 minutes, and it was
yeah.
just throbbing. So I actually spent the whole day traveling around with a sneaker and a slipper. I had to
Wow, yeah,
different
yeah,
shoes on because I can't drive with the slippers, and so I had to have the sneaker on my driving foot and the slipper, because I can't just
yeah.
walk around with a sock foot either. So it
Right, right,
it's
right.
it's kind of inconvenient. And next week I'm actually leaving and traveling and doing a 2-week party tour up to Seattle and back. So, I mean, if you're going to break a toe and slow yourself down, you might as well do it right before you leave on your first official tour that you've been thinking about and planning for years and years. But, it's okay, because I also kind of feel like sometimes I do move through things too quickly. My mind's always on the next thing that I have to do.
Right.
And I do believe that the universe is telling me to slow down and pay attention to what I'm doing in the moment, because I was so wrapped up in my head about all the things that I had to get done, that I was moving so fast. And when I start walking, I do leave people in the dust. Like, I'm slow most of the time, but when I want to get through a Walmart, trust me, I can get through it in 5 minutes, crowded or not. Just try
Yeah.
and keep up with me, or stand by the door and wait for me to come back, kind of a thing. And that was the mode I was in. And like I said, completely stopped in my tracks. I had to rethink everything in that moment and for the rest of the day, because I was stuck there with my foot up. doing that anyways. So it's inconvenient, but I always like to go, and this is why I'm so into personal development. I always like to go into less of woe is me, this just happened to me, and more of, okay, why did this just happen to me? What did I do to warrant having to learn this lesson right now? And I have so many things going on right now. My mind is literally a jumble, and it's hard really to focus on any one thing. So and with Sherry moving, the last 2 weeks have been crazy with that, and spreading my dad's ashes, and all of these different things. So I'm once I get back from the tour, I'm hoping that things will start to kind of calm down and smooth out and not be quite so crazy anymore, I guess, for lack of a better term. So keep your fingers crossed for me. I don't know.
Indeed. So, so Sherry's gonna, but you guys are still staying in touch, of course, all the time and everything, right?
Well,
You're staying in
yeah.
touch. Yeah.
We talk on Skype all the time anyways, because
Anyway,
she
yeah.
lives an hour and 20 minutes away from my house, and so we
Yeah.
still have Skype. We're still teaching classes together as co-teachers. But Grateful Fairy Wings, which is the company that the three of us, her and I and my dad, kind of sort of started, and the plans to go in that direction are not going to go in that direction. And so I think we're in agreement that we're going to kind of just do our own thing, and we both really need that. There's times in everybody's life where, and we are mentor student. She was my mentor, I was her student, but we have flipped that back and forth now so many times, it's unreal. And we still have a way of being codependent on each other sometimes, as all people do. And I feel that the heavy metal psychic doesn't really have a place in that partnership. It's an individual being, not a partnership. And it really was difficult to have an identity in both, almost, because even though it went with my personality, it almost didn't go together. So I'm disappointed. Obviously, I was very hurt when she made this decision. I didn't want her to leave, and it was like losing a link with my dad, at the same time. So there was a lot of stuff there too. But I also do take it and feel that both of us need our time to grow individually and be who we are individually. That doesn't mean we can't work together in the future, and continue to do things together online like we always have. And so we will keep that going. And we will keep in touch, and I will still drop everything and go rescue her if she needs it, and she will do the same for me. So it's just a couple states between us. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like she's on the whole other side of the country or anything. But yeah, so it's adjustment. Which that reminds me, but I was just looking at it. I did look up that Lionsgate thing last night, because I must be one hell of an astrologer. I've never even heard of this Lionsgate thing at all. I had to go and do some research, so that I could actually talk about it. And it seems interesting. I do get the associations, and I know I'm just going to share this with you all. I hope you don't mind, Chris. But she said, there's the facts, and then there's the bullshit.
Yeah.
Fill your head with bullshit. And I'm like, no. See, it all goes in. What needs to stick stays there. The bullshit comes out the other side. That's usually how I operate. But I can see where I actually sat back and kind of looked back and went, okay, so if this is supposed to mean major changes or new beginnings, or I can't remember what the hell it was supposed to mean. It was supposed to mean something great was going to happen. I looked back at last week on the 8th, and it didn't seem like anything, too spectacular, I guess. Maybe I'm missing something. But one of the things I did want to say about it is, as interesting as it is, in the 8s, numbers all represent an infinity, and this being 2018, it adds another layer of 8s to it. So it's 3 of the infinity symbol, and I can see where at this particular time of year, I guess, things do start to kind of sort of come full circle. And when we start off the year, we start off in a specific plan and in a specific mindset. And usually this is about the time where we have a tendency to take a breather for a second and look at what we've done so far, and see what we've achieved as far as what we set out to achieve, what we haven't achieved yet, what are the reasons for that. And so I feel that in many ways, what we would normally do kind of sort of coincides with that date. It's almost like things coming back into fruition or coming back into full circle, and yet there's a new beginning afterwards at the same time, which also makes sense because obviously if you're revisiting your plans, you're going to start setting some new goals at the same time. At least that's what you should do. So, but at the same time, and I didn't want this to sound ego, okay, because I don't want people to feel like just because I haven't heard of something, then it's obviously a bunch of crap, because that's not the case. I mean, there's still so many aspects of astrology that I just have no clue
Well,
about.
and then you have to say, like, is it really astrology? Like, I mean, I realize that the position of planets and lining up of equals astrology, but this is more like there's a lot of this like ascension community crap in there. You know what I mean? And
then
so
that's the thing, is that I often felt, and when I felt this when I was reading it, as I have so many other things. And if people want to disagree with me, that's fine. We don't have to have the same opinion. I'm cool with that. That everything that happens means ascension. And a lot of people tend to think that this ascension means that fairies are going to float down from the sky and pick them up, and you're going to float away somewhere. And it's going to be this wonderful, happy, oh my God, everything's falling into place moment. And true ascension is one of the most painful things I've had to endure in my entire life. I mean, it is, you go through some really harsh lessons, and that's another reason why personal development is so incorporated into what I do with astrology and mediumship, because you have to be prepared to go through that. This is not something that you can learn that is going to fix all of your problems for you. In fact, sometimes it creates more problems, or a different set of problems, or problems that are way bigger than you could possibly imagine ever being able to get through. And the more people I work with that are working mediums, or have been working mediums, or learning to be working mediums, we all have this sort of I've watched other mediums work. I've had people watch me work, and they've thought the same thoughts that I thought, where I looked at certain people. Sherry was the first one of those people, and went, there's no possible way I could get to be that good. Not even close to that. And yet she will tell you that in some ways I've surpassed her. In some ways I haven't. And that's because that's how she works. This is how I work. And we all have our own different, unique strengths and stuff. But when you put somebody on a pedestal like that, what you're missing is the actual human being. And the actual human being is extremely screwed up, is an emotional wreck most of the time. I just got done talking to my uncle about a woman who he and my dad were both in Alcoholics Anonymous. This woman came in and she told somebody that she was a medium and she's in recovery, and now the whole group knows, and they're all either trying to get a free reading out of her, or they're, the clique over there going, oh, she's lost her marbles, don't talk to her over there. And I completely understand why this woman is in recovery, because I've met so many people with abilities that have used alcohol, marijuana, any kind of drug, or anything, to try and get away from their abilities because they don't know what to do with them.
Right.
So,
Well, I keep trying to tell people over and over, you can't use the same measuring stick on any, it's just impossible. And so, nobody should want to be, you are given we all have our own, you can never be like me. I can never be like you. It can be similar in some ways,
and that's
but
what we're missing.
I can't.
When we're
But
comparing.
that's what we want. You know what I mean? God forbid that everybody was the same. What kind of why would we even be here then? You know what I mean?
But
Why
see,
would we
I find in some cases, not in all, but in some cases, some people out there who want to be, these other people. And I cringe every time somebody says, when I grew up, I want to be just like you. Please, God, no. Okay. First of all, be as far away from me as possible, because then I'm going to have to change. I can't be like you. And second of all, you don't want to be me. But they're afraid to be themselves. And it's so much easier to look at you, Chris. And in my perception of you, Chris, you've got it all figured out. Your life is perfect and happy and everything is great. And oh my God, you're just so awesome, right?
I know.
And that's what we tell ourselves.
That's
And
why
the
people hate
reality
me.
is not that at all.
Exactly right. No, exactly right.
And in my classes, a lot of that reality that I have gone through, a lot of the really dark, really screwed up parts of my life, whether they were spiritual or not, is irrelevant, is shared so that people understand that no, I'm just another screwed up human being trying to do better. And
Right,
sometimes I don't.
Right, there's one screwed up human being that happens to be the fastest runner. Another screwed up human being, happens to be the best shrink. Another screwed up human being is great at selling real estate. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you'll find the most screwed up people in the psychological profession, because
Right.
it's my assertion that they go seeking the degree in that area so they can figure out their own freaking problems. You know what I mean? And so. Listen, we got only less than 15 minutes, and we got two people I think that have been waiting. So do you want to take a couple calls, or?
If they want readings, I'm going to attempt. How about that? I'm so tired. My head is kind of crazy, but I will try.
I understand. We'll give it the college try. And so let's go get Mary Ellen. Hey, Mary Ellen.
Hey, if she's tired, that's fine.
Like I said, we'll make the attempt. Now, right now, I feel like I'm tired, but as soon as you ask that question, chances are it's going to boom, and I'm just going to go. That could happen, too. So, my brain does have a mind of its own.
Okay.
Check this amazing
that
thing.
That is cool.
Hey? Isn't that amazing?
That looks like the face of that, what was that movie with the plant that ate people?
Oh, like a flying Venus flytrap or something?
Yeah, the 80s movie with the planet that ate people. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, really?
But that's what it looks like to me.
Isn't that awesome?
It is very cool.
Oh, my God. Okay.
That is very cool.
Kathleen gave that to me. Okay, carry on. Ask your question.
I was everything is moving along pretty good with my mother-in-law, and my husband's getting ready to talk with some surgeons, and I was wondering how his surgery was going to be going.
Okay. Okay. Is there I almost want to say that what I'm picking up is that there are two different places that they have to fix, for lack of a better term. Like, rather than just doing a heart surgery, it's almost like the surgery has to be done on two separate places, or two places that connect to each other. Does that make sense?
Um, I well, it's his prostate, so they're taking it out. So, I guess I don't know.
Okay,
I don't,
it's the prostate, but there isn't an issue somewhere close to there?
that I don't know.
Okay, so first of all, I'm being told just to be aware of, or okay, this is what my grandfather's telling me. My grandfather had prostate cancer, and I'm not saying that it is prostate cancer per se, okay? But what I am being told is to ask questions about whether or not they're checking around that, such as the colon and the bowel, and different places that would be in the same area. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And okay. And which one of you or your husband, is the one writing down all the questions you want to ask to make sure with this new surgeon that you get everything covered?
I would say it's probably my husband because I
Okay.
don't know what to ask.
Okay. So okay, it's not grandpa anymore. It's my husband's grandmother, and she's like, put that on the list. She was a Virgo, so
Oh.
very meticulous about stuff. Put that on the list, and just, to make sure. I feel that they're going to look anyway.
Okay.
But it's enough of an importance that it needs to be brought up just in case. Does that make sense?
Well, I think he's probably looking in that direction because with his mom, they just found out because she had to have a
Oh, okay.
and um, they say that she has colon cancer. So now that's freaked my husband out.
So actually, okay, I understand. So he could be showing me both.
Okay.
And it's not in the same one. But you know what? Check to be on the safe side, okay? It's just, it's better to be safe than sorry, is what I'm being told. Now, you said that they think your mother-in-law has colon cancer?
No, they, the way the surgeon put it is that they feel very strongly that she does, but because of her age, they're not going to probe.
Okay.
Because she's 95, so it's basically she had the choice of being on IVs the rest of her life, or having the colostomy done, and there was no other third option.
Okay, got you. All right. So, first of all, with the mom, because I keep being gravitated toward her, and I really want to say that she is a spitfire of 95 years old, but some people still can't keep up with her, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes.
So, a little thing like possible cancer isn't going to take her down until she's ready either. And that's what I'm being told by Spirit. As for the father-in-law, this is a new team of surgeons that he's going to be working with?
For my husband? Yes.
Okay. So,
he's talking with two.
Okay, I got you.
Talking with two different ones. One is one place and one is another place.
Okay, yeah, okay, I got you. One of these surgeons in particular is really informative. Will sit down and patiently answer all the questions that your husband has. Will explain anything that you want explained, and is very, very good at what he does. He is not a normal doctor in the sense of normal doctors are, you're here for 15 minutes, here's your prescription, get out of my office. Does that make sense? This one's going to sit down and he's going to talk with him, and he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that your husband is comfortable and that you are comfortable, which is also really important. I do feel that things are going to actually go in a very positive direction for your husband in this procedure. I'm also told to tell you, though, that he needs to listen. And there's a man in spirit around him that is saying this. He needs to listen. And he's being very serious about this. And I feel that he's saying this because there are times when he gets in his head and he gets focused on how things are supposed to be done. And if there is a change that happens, he doesn't want to make the change. He wants to stay on the same course. Does that make sense?
That's him 100%.
He's got to be a fixed sign. We're notorious for that.
Yeah, he's
Um,
Virgo.
oh no, okay, Virgos are mutable. So he's not a fixed sign, but there could be the influence. But in any case, and also speaking of Virgo, also he needs to stop worrying about it. Because he's keeping himself up at night worrying about it. And there's no need to worry about something that he can't control. He's doing everything that he needs to do in order to get himself the help that he needs. Things are going to be okay, and I do not see cancer at all with him at this time.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Awesome. And good luck to you both.
Alrighty, thanks.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Mary Ellen.
And thanks.
Take care.
I always enjoy your show, and I love your music. And you make me laugh.
Thanks. That's nice. Nice to say. Thank you. It's why I don't know. It's the only reason I guess I keep coming back. So glad to that. Thank you very much. And let's go get Rachel. Are you Rachel's unmuted already? Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can.
Cool. Hi, Melissa.
Rachel.
How are you going? I'm studying at the moment, and I go through phases where I'm concentrating really well. And of late, I'm having a bit more trouble concentrating again. I've had a few things going on in the family.
I understand.
Now, yeah, and I'm just wondering, because I just found out last night that one of my clients, basically he's moving away. So is more work coming my way? Will my finances improve? And I think this is what's holding up my study a bit, is I start to stress out a bit. So yeah, can you see anything there at all, Melissa?
Yes. Okay, first of all, the answer is yes. You will have some more clientele coming your way and some more money, obviously, that comes with that. I'm also being told to tell you that your guides are around you. You've got guides and angels, and you've got kind of an army around you. And they all seem to live in your house, and they all think it's the great place to hang out, right? There's a lady walking around going, "Ooh, this is pretty," and she I don't know what it is, but she really likes it. And okay, I'm being told to tell you to ask them for help. And when you ask, this is what I do, because being in a spiritual job, I guess, it almost seems to throw things off balance when I ask for money. But when I ask for the people that need the help to come to me, they come in droves. And the money just kind of sort of comes with it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can be specific that you do want the right people, and you do want the ones that, are willing to pay, of course. Yes. You're always going to find those.
Yeah.
But, and the more you do that, what I do when I get really, really stuck in my head is I make it a point to do that once in the morning and once at night before I go to bed. I just ask. And when I start worrying about it in the middle of the day, I go, no, I asked. And when I'm worrying, it's me telling my guides in the universe that I really don't want the help. And that's not true. I really do want the help. So you have to look at what's going on in your mind, which is a basic human trait that we all go through, right? You have to look at those thoughts as pushing your clients away from you.
Yeah, right.
and you don't want to push them. You want them to come in. There's another thing that I'm being told to tell you, if it's okay. And this is
Yeah.
something that I go through a lot too, is that when you do get to these moments in your life where you start to get stressed out and you start to worry about things and stuff, a lot of what you do with your clients is in some cases helping them through those same tendencies that we go through, right? um
Yeah.
I mean, I feel you talk to everybody about these things. And when you get stuck there, you start to feel like a hypocrite. And then you start to beat yourself up, over being a hypocrite. And then it's like, oh my God, I
Mm.
can't even help anybody because I can't get myself out of that. And this lady that was walking around loving your house is like, you need to stop that. You stop that right now. She's saying, she's
Okay.
waving her finger,
Yep.
because what we teach people is not how to be perfect. It's how to identify when you're doing that and when to say, enough's enough. I'm not doing it anymore. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And that's so true, because in what I do, because I do, the work I do does help people. I mean, everyone, whatever they do, helps someone somehow. But I
Right.
do tend to sit there and talk about business management and getting the right headspace. And you're right, because then I get myself out of the right
Hmm.
headspace. So yeah, for
Right.
sure.
And
Okay.
it's we all do it. We all do it. I mean, I used to beat myself up
Mm.
so much, and then I'd take months off, and then I wouldn't make a lot of money, and then I wasn't helping anybody, and the least person that was getting help was me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my mum's had cancer. That's what's been going on in my life. She's just had a
That's
big
very
op
different. Yeah.
last week. So, I haven't been here. I've been running around helping family, and yeah, and so then I come home and I'm trying to, in between all the trips I'm making, I'm coming home and trying to, concentrate. My parents don't live here. They moved away 12 years ago
Hmm.
for 2 years and are still not back. But anyway, they're trying to sell their business and come back. Yeah, so I just feel like my body's here and my head's still somewhere else, and I'm waiting for it to come back in. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Can I share something with you?
Yeah, sure.
My dad passed in October,
Hmm.
and it was a shock. It was not something that obvious anybody could be really prepared for in that
No.
way. And there was a lot of really crazy circumstances around it. Not that he was murdered or anything too crazy like that. It just
Right.
was. I talked to him the night before. The next day, my husband found him in the kitchen floor. It just
Oh gosh.
was very, you
Sudden.
know, exactly. And in all honesty, and as long as I've been in this business, as soon I had just finished a class when I called my husband, and he had just arrived and was just walked up to my dad at that moment when I called. It was divine timing. And
Hmm.
from the moment of that conversation, I clocked out for the next 2 weeks and became a zombie. I didn't know what to do. I just sort of followed my husband around and hoped that he had a plan. And, I knew that there was 10,000 things that needed to be done, but I had no brain function to do them. And oddly enough, one of those days, I wound up having to take care of my stepmom. And I was okay. I could function completely. I drove her everywhere she needed to go. I got her stuff out of her purse when she needed. I did everything that needed to be done, and then as soon as that day was over, I went back into zombie land. Sometimes the reason I'm telling you this is because
Mm.
sometimes we get so overwhelmed emotionally that the easiest thing for us to do is not feel a thing.
Mm.
And we get so overwhelmed by all of these different situations that, I mean, if you had told me to read two lines, I wouldn't have seen the words at all on the piece of paper, let alone comprehend what they meant. My brain
Wow.
just wasn't there. So
Yeah.
this is a very similar situation that you're going through. I mean, she's got cancer. That's a lot to deal with. There's a lot emotionally to deal with, a lot physically to deal with. Yes, you have to study, but at the same time, I want to tell you that it's okay to back that pressure off of yourself just a little bit. I know you need money. I know you need to study and want to, finish your classes. I know you have your own timeline on when you want to do all this.
Yeah.
But the universe doesn't care what your timeline is.
Right.
It says, this is your lesson now. Avoid it if you want to, but it's still going to be here anyways. And it'll be here until you decide not to avoid it anymore.
Okay, because I've barely studied for the last 5 weeks, so that's okay then. The universe doesn't care because I've been taking care of what I need to do in my family.
And right, and they will. The universe will continue to do that. Ask them. Ask your guides. Ask your family in spirit. There is a grandmother around you. I feel that this is your mother's mother.
Oh yeah, that would be right.
She's very close around both of you, not just you, but your mother as well. So there's two of you here. You're not the only one. I know it feels like that sometimes, and I am also being shown that physically you're not the only one taking care of her either. But
can I tell you something about her then? I felt her not long after we found out everything. So it was only, but it's all fairly new, so a month ago or whatever. And I just felt my nana, and she told me I needed to go and see her youngest daughter and her eldest son. And so I drove an hour and a half to where they all live, and I went to see both of them. One was a surprise visit, one wasn't. And neither of them were coping. And once I went to see them, they were able to ring my mum. They were able to ring me and keep in touch.
Right.
My uncle, the minute I walked in the door, he's a very strong man, and he's done a lot. He's been, had a high level job in the army and so forth. And he had a tear in his eye the whole time I was there. I surprised him. Yeah, but I knew she told me I had to go and see them and make sure they're okay. So thank you for confirming that, because I did feel that at that time she was here, but that's nice to know she's still around.
She is, and she says she's not going anywhere either, so you can't get away from me. And then she throws her head back and laughs, and she's literally cackling when she laughs. Like it's almost that scary lady down the street that whenever all the kids think is crazy or something, putting curses on cats, but she's not like that at all. It's just that's what her laugh sounds like. And
it's very mischievous, her laugh.
It is, yes. She almost has like this gleam in her eye, like you don't know what I'm about to do, but I do, and it's gonna be fun, So yeah, she's there's your. I'm glad I could give you that confirmation, because yes, she is very much around you all the time, and everyone. She's still taking care of everybody like she always did. She says, and nothing's gonna stop her. So.
Oh, great! No, that's wonderful. Cool.
Awesome.
Right. I'm gonna, Rachel, I think we are connected on my messenger on my heavy metal psychic page. I'm gonna send you a video. It's a ground and bubble video that I did a while ago, and this video, just this ground and bubble, might just help kind of sort of quiet this down a little bit, because that most of the time that's what the problem is that you just get so overwhelmed in your head that you almost can't separate everything that's going on. It's a big jumbled mess.
Yeah.
And this video helps with that when you do it on a fairly regular basis. So I'm going to send that to you. I think I still have your message up here from the last time.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. And so do you know how long it's going to be until some more clientele head my way?
It's not going to take that long. It really isn't. I mean, we're talking a couple of weeks here, and or within the next couple of weeks. I'm seeing sets of 2 and 2, and I'm not sure that means that you're going to get 2, and then a few weeks later get another 2, or if how soon they're going to far apart they are. So. yeah, I don't think it's going to be that long at all for you.
Oh, fantastic. That's brilliant. Oh, thanks so much, Melissa. I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome, Rachel. Good luck.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks again. Okay, bye.
Thanks, Rachel. Take care. Thank you. Thanks for your patience, you two callers. And they kept listening to my lame music and whatever else I was doing, you know. So, okay, well, let's let you go and get some rest because you've had a hell of a time these last few days. And so, you guys just Google heavy metal psychic, and you can find Melissa. And so then the next time that, there it is. Next time that we have is see you in September 11th, 9/11.
Will be 9/11. I saw that the other day. And yes, I'm really hoping that after I get back from this trip to Seattle and all that, like I said, things will go back to normal and I won't be such a flaky guest anymore.
Oh, it's like shit. Never mind. The other day I set my alarm. I woke up, but I didn't get up, like off the couch, and I dozed back off again, I guess, and I slept through my own damn show.
I've not done that personally, but I've known a few people who have. So yeah,
I got to get my sleep shit back together, you know. But anyhow, okay. So thanks a billion. Take care of everything. Take care of you. You have traveling coming up, so be safe travels, and we'll see you in September.
That's right. All right, you guys have a great night, and thank you so much for your patience with me.
Not a problem.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. No, we appreciate you, and so thank you so much for that. Okay, kids, so let's call it a night. I'm going to go and try and find some food, and
oh yeah, food.
Food, yes, food.
Oh, food. I don't think I've done that yet today.
Food, I know, me either. And so now, what day am I on here? I'm on. Okay, tomorrow we're off, and then Thursday we have Salva. And so that's the deal. That's what's happening. Everybody take good care, and we will see you Thursday. Peace out, everybody. Thanks.